Today we're going to be giving you some essential tips for your first cruise. Plus, stay tuned till the end for a bonus tip that'll make your experience even better.
Stay tuned.
Hi everyone, I'm Rick.
And I'm Andrea, and today we will give you 8 tips to improve your first cruise. But first, if you like travel-related videos, now's a great time to the subscribe button down below, and you will never miss any future videos.
That's great advice.
Thank you. So, as you might know, we just disembarked a few weeks ago from a back-to-back Mediterranean cruise. During our time on board, we saw so many first-timers make mistakes that make their cruise experience less than perfect. For this reason, we came up with this video. By the way, if you didn't see our Mediterranean cruise video, here's a good link for you to watch.
Alright, so let's start with tip number 1, the itinerary. Look, if you've never cruised before, you probably won't know some very essential things like, will I even like cruising? Will I get bored? Will I get seasick? For these reasons, picking the right itinerary is so important. So first, you'll need an itinerary that's not too long. In our opinion, 5 to 7 days is about the perfect amount of time for a first cruise. In fact, our first cruise together was 7 days.
I know.
And in case you're not enjoying yourself or you're bored, at least you'll only be there for a week. Second, pick an itinerary that's very port intensive. And what does it mean? A port intensive itinerary is one that has a lot of stops, like a port stop every day or almost every day. This way, you'll always have something new to explore each and every day. The Mediterranean or the Caribbean are usually perfect itineraries for first-time cruisers because almost every day they stop in a new port. Also, pick an itinerary that has a relatively calm ocean for your first time. As we mentioned before, if you don't know if you're going to get seasick or not, that will definitely help. The Mediterranean and Alaska usually offer a really smooth ride.
Not Antarctica.
Not Antarctica. Last, folks, pick an itinerary that interests you. If you don't like the ports that the ship is going to, well, chances are you're gonna get bored. Just because you see an ad for a really cheap cruise, it doesn't mean you'll like the itinerary. So, guys, always check where the ship is going to stop and ask yourself, does any of those ports or any of those stops interest you? And if the answer is yes, go for it. Otherwise, look for something that intrigues you more.
Excellent idea. So tip number 2, pick the right cabin. For your first time cruise, we strongly recommend you to pick a balcony cabin. Yes, they are more expensive, but you will have the chance of stepping outside on the balcony. If you are not used to the size of a cruise ship cabin, you might feel a little claustrophobic in an inside cabin. If you really want to save some cash, or you can't afford a balcony, at least pick a window cabin, sometimes called ocean view cabin.
Yeah, or porthole.
Or porthole. This will at least give you some natural light and make it a little less claustrophobic. But guys, if you really can, go for a balcony.
Yeah.
By the way, if you want to learn more about picking the right cabin for a cruise, check out this video up here. It's a great video.
And I think we recorded it ourselves.
I know.
All right, folks, tip number 3, the packages and which package is right for you. You know, nowadays, almost all cruise lines offer 2 types of fares, a basic and an all-inclusive one. And the basic package offers a stripped-down service that just includes your cabin, food at the main restaurant, and the buffet, and free entertainment on board. Now, that might sound like a lot, but wait until you get on board. Well, the all-inclusive package usually includes all of the free stuff, plus your gratuities, and more about that in the next tip. But also drinking packages and other perks like free Wi-Fi, depending on the cruise line. In our experience, the most popular package is the drinking package. Hello. And every cruise line has different drinking package, that include alcoholic beverages, sodas, specialty coffees, teas, cocktails, mocktails, you name it. And if you don't have a drinking package, almost everything you drink, well, other than water or drip coffee or maybe iced tea, is not going to be included in your fare.
And that adds up. Trust us.
I know, more on that later. But the most important thing before buying a drinking package is to read exactly what is included and how much it costs. For example, if you're not really into cocktails and you only drink one glass of wine at dinner, maybe it's not worth it to get a full drinking package. Maybe just buy the wine a la carte. However, if you drink a lot of cappuccinos or lattes or the other specialty coffees, you should see if it'd be worth it to buy the full package. The same can be said about the soda packages. On Princess, we have to pay for soda packages just for bubbly water. If you enjoy sodas or sparkling water, you should definitely consider the right package for you. Otherwise, you will likely end up with a really big bill at the end of the cruise.
Absolutely.
Now, whether you bought the drinking package when you first booked your trip or your first day on board, no matter what, you will be encouraged by the onboard staff to upgrade your package to a more premium version. And most of the time, the upgrade is just not necessary unless you prefer one of those premium brands of spirits or wine. So again, be careful and do your research. And another popular package that's also often offered on board is the internet package. And it's definitely worth it if you need to stay connected while on board. Also, it's more important if you're on a cruise with lots of sea days, because in ports, you can always use your cell phone provider or free Wi-Fi at a coffee shop. And lastly, there's also the photo package, which is really popular. The photo package will allow you to bring home as many photos taken by the photographers on board as you like. Now, we prefer to take our own photos on board, and we think that the photo package is probably a little overpriced. Having said that, you can make up your own mind and decide if it's worth it.
Absolutely. Next tip, excursions. When you are in port, you should definitely go out and explore. You can either decide to go with your own. However, unfortunately right now you cannot due to the pandemic, or at least not all cruise line let you do that.
Well, it's not always possible.
Not always possible. But this will change. Or you can do it the cruise line. So there are pros and cons on both choices, and here they are. If you decide to do it on your own, or use an independent tour provider, you have to be aware of a very, very important fact. And this is, if you are late, the ship will not wait for you.
That's right.
Let me repeat, if you are late, the ship will not wait for you. In other words, if you miss your onboard time, the ship will leave and you will be left at the port. And you have to arrange a private transportation for you to the next port of call. So keep this in mind. Also, if you want to go and explore on your own, you will have to do some research on what to see in the port and what to do. This is my job. On the pro side, doing excursion on your own will save you some money, and it will allow you to experience it at your own pace. In our opinion, we usually go on our own if we are in a big city. And the port is very close to the city center, the downtown area. We also like to use the up-on, up-off buses when we are in a big city. And very often the bus company has a stop right at the cruise terminal. That happens a few times for us.
A few times, yeah.
If you decide to go with the cruise line, you have the peace of mind that even if the bus is late, the ship will wait for you.
Exactly.
Another pro is the fact that everything is pre-arranged and the excursions are basically worry-free. Also, another very important thing is that the fact in case the port is cancelled because of the weather or other bad condition or problems, you will get a full refund.
That's right.
However, if you book something that on your own, you are probably out of luck and you have to, the money is gone.
Yep.
Lastly, excursion booked by the cruise line tends to be very safe. This is very important in areas where safety might be a little bit of a concern.
Yep.
Cruise line excursions tend to be a little more expensive than your own excursion. and a little bit less authentic. Also, they often stop at some souvenir stores or factory picked by the cruise line, and it might be mildly annoying if you only want to explore a city.
Another jewelry store, a leather
Yeah,
shop.
leather store, like a Uzo canteen at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was kind of funny. There's also a third kind of excursion, which is an hybrid in between the two. These are common in places where the port is far away from the city center.
Yeah, they call them on your own.
On your own, exactly. In this case, the cruise line offers a shuttle bus that takes you from the port to the city. And if you are on your own in the city center before taking the bus back to the port. We use this option quite a lot during our cruise to Asia, where some of the ports are really far away, 1 or 2 hours from the city center. And it worked really well.
Remember Bangkok? We stayed there overnight.
Absolutely. If you decide to do your excursion with a cruise line, we strongly recommend you book them well in advance, online, even before you get on board, because the best excursions tend to be sold out really quickly. On our last cruise, we met many passengers that we were advised by their travel agents to wait until they were on board to book their excursion. And they were really furious because they were left with some very lousy excursion. All the good ones were sold out. So
it'd be like arriving in Rome and not being able to see the Colosseum.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine? Okay, guys, next tip, gratuities. Now, you might ask, what are the gratuities? Well, the gratuities are basically the service charge that you pay on top of your cruise fare, and it gets split among the crew on board. Now, in case you decide on a basic fare, you're going to have to pay the gratuities at the end of your cruise before disembarking.
And they will call you if you don't.
Oh yeah, they'll call you. Maybe they're not going to let you go. They're not going to let you off. All right, so gratuities usually run about $14 to $17 per person per day. So be aware of this charge. Now, in case you find a fare that has gratuities included, you should definitely go for it, as it'll most likely save you money.
Absolutely. And now move on to tip number 6, avoid the following. And these are a little list. There are also things that the cruise line offers to the passenger to increase revenue. Some are okay, but some are a bit of a scam, and we strongly recommend you to avoid them. These include: the first thing you should avoid is all the special treatment that are on board, such as foot analysis, teeth whitening, weight loss program, face rejuvenation. Yeah. Usually these treatments are incredibly overpriced, and they are not worth it. Trust us. You should also avoid buying duty-free items on board. Usually the prices are not that great. This is especially true for liquors and cosmetics. You will not find any kind of deals on board, so better to save money and save room on your luggage, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, any kind of toiletry or sunscreen on board is usually way overpriced, and the selection is quite small. It's much better to buy this item in port, just before you're boarding.
Remember that sunscreen I wanted to buy?
I
It was
know.
like $40 for one little bottle.
No. Crazy.
And speaking of dollars, my bonus tip, or our bonus tip, is to check your onboard account often. Yes. Like, you have to check your onboard account at least every day. These days, you can check it from the cruise line's application on the phone, from the TV, or just go downstairs to the computer. It's incredibly important to check that your charges are correct and that you're not overspending. On top of that, it's easier to spot an erroneous charge right away so you can fix it, instead of waiting till your last day, or maybe it'll be too late. You know, on my very first cruise, I will never forget this, I never checked my onboard account. We were enjoying a few drinks during the day, didn't have a drinking package, and we got sucked into doing a photo shoot. Ordered a bottle of wine or 2 every single day. Well, to make a long story short, on the last evening the bill came, and for a 10-day cruise in the Mediterranean, I racked up $5,000 in extras that got charged on my credit card, and boy, I learned my lesson. Now, I check our spending every single day, and so does Andrea.
Yeah.
And in many cases, we've spotted some billing mistakes, and we just have them fixed right away.
Absolutely. So guys, what do you think about this bonus tip? Do you like it? Give us a thumbs up if you agree. Well, that's our video for today, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please leave in the comment below, and we will try to answer the question as best as we can. Meanwhile, see you next time.
Bye, guys.